People want to catch up on this, so I'm going to hit record. Hayley, hi. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed last night. I know there's a lot to take in, right? The world of website is something that I learned. I actually taught myself how to design websites. So a little bit of history on me. Basically, in 2017, my husband and I decided to travel, buy a motorhome basically, and travel around Europe. And we ended up doing that. And whilst I was doing that, I taught myself web design as the first kind of business that I did. So I used YouTube and I sat there and I watched all day, all night, in the middle of the night mostly, because I had a little one at that point, and taught myself how to design websites and how to use a platform called WordPress. And then started to actually design some celebrant websites. So I was doing kind of free websites at the beginning, and then I started to obviously charge for my time, and kind of just developed from there, alongside then launching the Celebrant directory, where I worked with a web designer at the same time to design the Celebrant directory, which was a massive, like a big deal doing the Celebrant directory. It was a big project, a lots of weaving and moving parts within the directory. Obviously, for those of you guys who are on the Celebrant directory or on any other directory, you know that directories, once you log in, you've got lots of things to fill in, and then automatically you press save and it comes on, you know, the face of it, the front end of the website. So there's a lot that goes into designing websites, to ensuring that websites are looking really good, and to getting websites out there. So I just want to let you all know, when you came off of yesterday's session, there are many things that you personally can go and implement, but there are obviously a lot of things that that we do as professional web designers, hence why a lot of people contract web designers to do the sites for them. And that's important just to note. We're going to talk a little bit tonight about SEO, 3 letters that scare the heck out of some people. Some people don't mind learning about these things, but for some, and for most, I would say, this type of thing is way above what they've learned before in regards to the tech side of things. And that's all because not all of us come from a tech background. Not all of us have done what I just said and sat day in, day out watching YouTube and learning about tech. It doesn't come naturally to a lot of us. We all have a lot of different experience in our past, and have not, as I said, sat there and done tech. So that's absolutely fine, and that's what I'm going to run through today. I'm just going to look at some of these comments. Yeah, no worries, everyone, and welcome. So I'm going to get started. This, again, is a bit of an interactive, jumpy session. I like doing presentations, but I also like to show you interactive things online, because ultimately, you know, you're not just going to be looking at a slideshow. You're also going to be wanting to see how it works online practically. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. If you've got any questions, I am following over in the chat. So just ask away and I will just answer during our session today. So bear with me a second and let me pop up our presentation for now. Okay, so as I said, an overview of our session is really learning about how to supercharge your website. So what this is all about, these 3 little letters, SEO, is about getting our websites basically on Google. So we are using Google for our search engine, as our prime search engine. Everyone goes to Google now. If there's another search engine you use, raise your hand, but pretty much 98% of us are going to be going to Google to find our hairdressers or our local bakery, or, you know, whatever it is, we're heading there to Google. So what we're doing is we're going to look at how to connect our websites to Google. Now, our websites don't just magically appear on Google. They will go on Google, but unless we tell Google where to place our websites will just stay anywhere on the internet. Okay, so many people come to me and say, I had this beautiful website designed, it's fantastic, but it's been up a year and it's still nowhere near the top 5 pages on Google. And the reason for that is we haven't optimized the site. And this is an unfortunate thing that I see time and time again when people come to me asking about how to get their website up on Google is that their web designer or developer has just pulled this website together and made it look beautiful, but not helped them with the next steps. And search engine optimization is the next steps. And I want to show you how to do this yourself, and lots of these techniques yourself, so that you can go ahead and do them without needing to pay for this service. Now, I will say to you just a few little words of warning. When you do get a website up live, if you've got a telephone number on there, the likelihood of you receiving a telephone call from someone offering you SEO services or emails in your inbox offering you SEO services is quite high. So just be mindful of that when you are putting a website out there, because you will get these. It's not to say that these services aren't fantastic and great, but for you as a small business owner, you will be able to implement these techniques and make yourself get ahead of the game and make yourself get on page 1 of Google, which is where we want to be. Ultimately, we want to be top 5 of Google. That's when we're really going to be seen and we're going to be clicked on, and we're going to see where it is that we are, which is, super duper important. Who here has started and got a kind of a private window or an incognito window, depending on what you're using, to see where you are ranking at the moment on Google? Who's done that, and where do you see yourself at the moment? And if you haven't done it yet, and you've got anything up in the background, go to a private window if you're using Windows, Internet Explorer, or go to an incognito window if you're on an Apple, and write down Celebrant and your location. Celebrant Bristol, Celebrant Manchester, and see whereabouts you rank currently if you have a website. Obviously, if you don't have a website, this is something that you need to be thinking about when you get your website done. SEO needs to be on top of your list, and if a web designer, like we do, we support with SEO, it's something that you really want to ensure that you are doing. So just understand and take kind of note from this session. Let me maximize this. I don't like that it's not maximized. I'm a bit of a perfectionist like that. Oh, I can't work it out. It's just not fair. So SEO, search engine optimization. Okay, it is what it says, search engine optimization. It's getting your website optimized, as I said, for Google and for other search engines, but predominantly there for Google. It's ensuring that we are placed online, that we are placed in the right place. So again, for those of you who have a website currently and you're unsure whereabouts you are, what you can do, there's a few other tools, but the best tool is to go incognito, which basically means there's no cookies and things like that saved on your website. So you know what it's all like when we search something online. The majority of the time we get that up again and again and again, or we end up seeing it on Facebook because it's all interconnected. That's called cookies, and that's what cookies are doing. It's basically storing all your search terms online. So if you open a private window or an incognito window, you're going to see it completely fresh and see whereabouts you are. Then what I'd recommend you do is write that number down. So if you're on page 3, page 4, page 5, write that down and start your foundational content from here. One of the things I always say within my coaching realm is get those foundations down. So if you haven't done that yet, if you came on my 4-day challenge and I told you to do this and you haven't done it yet, then I really want to tell you to go and do this. Have a look at your foundations so that in 6 months' time, when you're starting to implement all of this stuff, you'll be able to actually look at how far you've come. If you don't know whereabouts you are currently ranking on Google, you're never going to know if you've actually made a change or made a difference. So your foundational content of all your strategy is super duper important. So get that down and have a look at whereabouts it is. Let's have a look at some of these techniques. We've got a lovely Kate here, one of the websites that we've done. And I want to talk to you a little bit about her website, but also about websites in general. The number one important thing on your website is the content you've got on your website. Ultimately, again, you need to tell Google where it is you need to show up. What Google does is it spiders websites. So it goes through your website and it goes, where are these keywords? Where are these key things that I need to find in order to place this website somewhere, right? If you don't tell your website that you're a Bristol celebrant, they're never going to be able to find out that you're a Bristol celebrant, right? Like, how are they ever going to know unless we tell your website, unless we tell Google? So make sure on each of your page, at least kind of 5 times, we're mentioning whereabouts we are, what we do, especially. So, you know, Bristol Celebrant, for example, and we'll just use Bristol because that's where I was as a celebrant, needs to be a focal point on your website so that Google again knows. And if someone is searching for a Bristol Celebrant, they're going to be able to find my website because I've got those content, those keywords on my website. What we always look at is to really find a nice balance of words on websites. Now, Google suggests having around 300 words per page on your website. This is so that Google gets enough chunky detail from you, again, to help it place you on Google. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you need that many words, and it doesn't mean to say you need that many words on every single page of your website, but you need to use this as kind of a bar. Your home page is generally a directional page. So your homepage doesn't need to be full of content. What your homepage needs to do is direct people to different places online on your website. Your main pages really are your wedding page, your funeral page, your naming page, your about page. These are your chunky pages. And those 3 first pages are your sales pages. These are the pages where you need to really tell people about what it is that you do, where you are from, what packages you offer, all of this juicy content that's going to take people all the way through to a contact button where they're going to take that next step and get in touch with you. You need to show people where to go, what it is that you do, why they should contact you. And Google loves this content. If we've got clunky sites where we've got pages of content, one, no one's going to read it. I mean, do you read websites that's got a ton of content on it? No, we all get bored and we just pull out the bold bits, right? We just pull out the big bits or the bold bits, and then we consider whether it's actually worth our time reading. We're all busy. Don't expect people to sit there and read the content of your website. People are coming to your website predominantly to find out about your package, right? They're finding out about what it is that you offer. They're not necessarily coming to your website to read all of your content. That's secondary. What they want to find first is, do the pictures look nice? Do I like this person? What the packages are, you know, what are they going to offer me? How do I get in touch with them? Maybe price, you know, what price are they at the moment? And then they'll read more if they're actually really interested. Yeah, so a nice flow to a website makes a difference. But just to say at the beginning, this is what keywords are. When some people talk about SEO and they talk about keywords, you know, it sounds a little bit pie in the sky. But what keywords are basically are the key things that we want Google to know about us. And they need to be on your website, and they need to be on every page of your website. Because what Google are also going to do is they're going to spider every single page, and they place every single page in different places. Again, like the celebrant directory, you know, we have hundreds of pages on the celebrant directory because every page where we're talking about a different location is a new page. And that page will come onto Google. So for example, I was looking at fanfare ceremonies earlier and I've got them up. When I Google them, the first one that comes up in an incognito window is outdoor ceremonies. That is a directory site that comes up first. And what that's done is done a really good job at their optimization in that they're coming up first over the actual celebrant themselves. So that is a specific page that they've worked on to ensure that those keywords are there and to ensure that Google knows where to go. So these keywords are very important, and you can add these in just to your content. So for those of you who have a website already and that you're happy with your website, make sure you've got login details to your website. Very important that you own the website. So often people don't have any access to their website, can't make any changes to the website. And I've heard it time and time again. And it's a very sad state of affairs when you don't own it. You need to own your domain. You need to own your www.web address. Make sure you own that because that is your property. And then make sure you have login details as an admin into your website because you then have control of your website. You can then go in and make these changes or get some people to support you. Sometimes a web development company might go under or go AWOL. And I've heard that time and time again as well, and not being able to get into the site. And then we've actually had to design a new site for that celebrant, which obviously comes with an additional expense. So just make sure you've got that detail. Your page optimization. So let's have a look at your page optimization. Now, this all comes into the back end of your website. Now, if you have designed your site on WordPress, for example, there are tools that you can use to help you. There is a tool called Yoast. It's a traffic light system. It goes through red, you haven't done any optimization or it's pretty shoddy. Amber, okay, it's pretty good. Like you've done some work on it and it's okay. Google's going to be able to spider this page. Or green, wicked, you've done a great job. You know, you've done all of that optimization. Google loves me and it's going to place me in the right place. If you have used any of these free applications like GoDaddy, for example, even Wix free version, any of these kind of DIY free ones, you need to go and research how to optimize. Now, the problem that we always have with these free web development opportunities are that the SEO is not strong. So yes, we can go to GoDaddy and get a free one, lovely jubbly, probably spend 6 months designing it or going through it and trying to perfect it, because ultimately most of us aren't web developers. So we're looking at it from like, oh, okay, here's a template, let's move it around. But ultimately, because it's free, the actual search engine optimization capabilities are not strong, which means, yes, it's great, but ultimately we're not making that return that we need from this website. If we make an investment into our website and if we make an investment of time into our search engine optimization, we are going to get bookings way quicker than we are doing something that's for free and that people aren't visiting, right? What's the point in having a website when no one's coming to that website? And then again, what's the point in having a website if people are coming and turned off by it because it looks a bit shoddy? Yeah, it looks a little bit DIY. Ultimately, people, again, like I said last night, are spending a lot of money with us. You know, website celebrant services aren't cheap. You know, we're not free. They're spending a lot of money with us. They want to be able to trust us. And a professional looking site that works, that has good navigation, that has, you know, all the information that they need on there, more likely that couple or that family are going to trust us. And then in return, book us. And in return, again, we're going to get more bookings because of that. Yeah. So optimization is key, but this isn't something that I can train in the next 40 minutes or so, but it's something you need to look into if this is a type of website, if you've got a website already. So let's make sure your page is optimized. I'm going to talk through a few of these. I just can't go in and dive into the optimization themselves, but I'm going to talk through what you need to optimize. Now, who here has heard of meta tags, meta descriptions, and thought, right, I have no idea what that is. I've never thought I would even hear that in my whole entire life. And now you're putting over to me and you're talking to me about meta things. Meta, basically, again, is what we need to tell Google in order for us to be ranked again. So yes, we put keywords into our website, but we also need to tell Google what to say about us. And I'm going to pull this up for you to explain it actually on my screen rather than just, let's see, hopefully this is the right one. Yes, rather than just talk to you actually about it. So we're going to go over here. No, we're not going to go there. We're going to go here. So we're going to go to Tara the Celebrant. Lovely Tara, who I've been coaching and working with for a long time. She's also one of our mentors at the Academy of Modern Celebrancy, and we've also designed her site for her. And I just want to show you what metadata is. So when you go into the back end of your website, and especially if it's designed by WordPress, you're going to see these little boxes to fill in. And what these boxes mean is this. As Google, I'm Google, what should I put on Google to tell your current clients, your potential funeral families, what to say about you? And this is what Tara's done. So she's named her website, Tara the Celebrant. Again, go to Google, Google yourself and find out what it says about you right now. She has named her website, and this is called your meta title, right? So she's named her website. She's also given a description, and this is called a meta description. So she's told Google what she wants Google to display. You can tell Google all of this information. So my name is Tara, and I'm a celebrant providing bespoke ceremonies across Bristol, Gloucestershire, Somerset, and Wiltshire areas. Yeah, so she is telling Google, show me in Bristol, in Gloucestershire, in Somerset, and in Wiltshire. Show me in these areas because I want to get bookings there. And then what she's done is she has also done the same thing for these pages. Yeah, so testimonials, wedding ceremony, she's labeled them so that people can find these pages. And that's basically what this meta is. So if you ever hear it or you go into your website now and you see this detail, you know what it is. The meta descriptions, titles, all of these little things are to do with what shows up on Google. I'm pretty sure I have Proud Fox as well. So Proud Fox ceremonies, is another client we've worked with, Martin Fox Roberts. He's awesome. Go and check his website out. You see so much about Martin. And he's here the same. I pride myself on putting your experience at the center of everything that I do. So he is describing what it is that he does. And then on his about page, he's got based in Southeast London on the beautiful Kent border. So he's then talking about where it is that he is based. So this is your meta area. And this is something that maybe right now is blowing your mind because, again, you never thought about this. This is something that you just bear in mind as you go along and do some training, that you now understand this slightly more technical terms for things. Let me go back to the presentation. Okay, easy to navigate. Very, very important. So the structure of our website is important. And again, this is something that gets lost if you do your own website because we don't really understand the importance of this element. So if your website is clunky, if your website is not mobile responsive, it's not mobile friendly, which is shocking when there is still websites out there that's not mobile friendly, considering at least 80% of our traffic comes through our phones. Obviously, most people waking up in the morning and going straight on the phones, having a little look, we're all on our phone a lot of the time. And is it easy to navigate? Do you know where to go on the website? Do you know where to go? Because Google loves this. If you're confusing Google, then Google is not going to display you in the right place. So make sure it's easy to navigate. And again, I'm going to show you an example of this. So we're going to head to Fab Ceremonies, Gary. I know a lot of you know Gary. And we're just going to look at his navigation of his website. So like we talked about last night, Gary has quite a distinctive brand on his website. When you come on his website, you have this real look and feel. He has a certain background, and go on his website and read about him, and you'll be able to see the reoccurring theme that goes through his site. But one of the really important elements of his site in this regard is his easy navigation. So if I hover on here, I can see exactly where it is that I want to go. So many of us also flood our menu. So we have all of the menu items in one space. Try and be as concise as possible with menu items. The less menu items we have, the easier it is for your site for us to navigate on your site. So if we hover on ceremonies, we've got them all under here, and that's what definitely I would recommend, is bunching all of them up and having them all coming down so that people can just see a few of the options. Having a separate testimonials page is really lovely because people know exactly where to go straight off, so they can go straight there and find out all about your credibility, all about all the people that love you. There's nothing like some fantastic testimonials to really make people feel warm, make people feel good about hiring you as a celebrant. And then the other thing when it comes to looking at easy to navigate is this site telling me where to go. So he is telling me to come and get to know him here, which is a button that I'm going to press to take me to the About page. If If I keep going down, I'm going to then look at these, and these are the what's next. So choose your ceremony for more information, and I'm going to head off here to, again, another page. When I come down, I'm also going to be able to look at the social media. I'm also going to have here the option of clicking on these and going to Instagram. And I've also got ceremonies here where I can click through to go to the additional pages. Gary also has his email address and his phone number available as well. So very easy to navigate on this site and find out where it is I need to go. Clunky sites are things that Google don't like. You have to have a site that's friendly to others. A site that's also accessible, and just accessible in a slim way of making sure it's mobile friendly. Also making sure that you've thought about the contrast of colors on your website so that people who are maybe more visually impaired have the opportunity to also look and be able to take in and soak in your website. So just a few things there to think about when it comes to navigation on your website. Create links to other sites. Now, this is something that you need to do externally and internally. And the way to grow the ranking of your website is to get your web link on other people's sites. One of the most important things to remember about web design and websites and Google is that Google needs to trust you. Ultimately, Google is going to show you online, for example, in the top 5, as a good website, as a trusted website, okay? It only wants to show trusted websites. It wants to show the best of the best at the top 5. You know, you've got to fight for it to get yourself up there. If you are trusted by other sites, big sites, for example, you've got a link to your website on a big website, Google is going to go, oh, this website is trusted by this big website, which means I should trust it. And I'm going to take it up the rankings slightly more. So, for example, if you've written to one of the big wedding blogs and you've said, can I write some content for your website? And would it be okay if I write an article on celebrant-led weddings, and can I put a link to my website on it? They say yes, fantastic. This big site, because it's going to be way bigger than yours, this big site has then got your content on it, a link on it, and up your Google ranking is going to go. There's one article that I wrote way back when, I mean, it must be 10 years ago now, for one of the big wedding planning websites. And it still comes up on Google when you type in the specific keywords that I wrote about. And that's the strength of it, because it was written in a way for optimization for Google, but also it helped me gain so much traction on my website because Google loved it. The other thing to do is making sure that you're linking internally on your website. So link between your pages. So if you're on your wedding page, for example, link to your contact page. If you are on your funeral page and you want to link through to your about page or your testimonials page, make sure you've got some nice links on your website to show your website is working. How fast is your website? Okay, so lots of websites are actually pretty slow. Google wants fast, responsive websites. Your website must be fast. One of the ways to ensure that your website is fast is to be really particular with the images that you're uploading on your website. So many of us are a little bit lazy when it comes to websites, and we'll just upload an image without even looking at the size of it. The bigger the image, the slower your website, or the more videos you've got on your website, the slower your website. And again, as a high level, Google loves fast websites. Okay, so have a little look. If you've got a website right now or it's something you're considering doing, have a look at the image sizes. You want your images to be less than around 150 KBs. Okay, so just have that number in your mind. You don't really need to understand what it is, but 150 pixels. Okay, KBs. When you want to come to reducing size of images, so you might be given a whole bunch of images from a wedding photographer, for example, and they've given you them and they're all huge. They're like 5 meg, 10 meg, 20 meg. They're huge images. You can go to a site called JPEG Panda, and you can upload your image. You just drag and drop it into there. and it will squash it for you, and then you can re-download it, and it's nicely optimized for web. So make sure your website is fast. One of the other tools that you can go on, and let me jump back over to here. One of the other tools that you can go on is called Page Speed Insights. So if you Google Page Speed Insights or Page Speed, you actually be able to type in your URL, and you'll be able to see how it is performing. So I did this earlier for Tara. She has done really well, as we can see here on her SEO. So Google has given her a ranking. Her performance is mid-range, which is great. You know, the likelihood of you getting it right up there is tough, but as long as we're in amber. And what it's going to show you is, here are some things that you can do. Yeah, properly sized images is actually one of her points. You don't need to go down here. You're going to get a little bit bamboozled by this. But what you can see is some of these images are over that 150 KB that I talked about. Yeah, so you'll be able to see here, one of these images is actually too big. I won't get into the detail of how I'm finding it, but this is the kind of the code to find it, but we don't need to look at that. All we need to look at is, hey, actually, I've got some big images on there. I need to go in and check them and check the sizes. Yeah, so this is quite a nice website to kind of help you figure out whether your website's slow, whether it's fast. And as I say, Google likes fast, responsive websites. Everyone still with me? Lot to take in, but soak it in. You can rewatch this again as you go through. As I said about images, it's not just the image size, it's also about the quality of image. We want to have non-pixelated images. Again, a lot of websites I see with pictures that people have taken just on their phone of them, but it's come up quite pixelated, or it looks a little pants because it's not as professional. Professional images, ones that aren't pixelated, ones that are quick to load, again, because they're a nice small size, are going to give you much more brownie points with Google as well. So really have a good think about the images that you're using. Quite often I get questions about images and whether we need images, especially at our infancy of celebrancy, of us doing ceremonies. And I completely get that and understand that. We can use other images and get other images from other sources. There are websites like Unsplash or Canva, or contacting local photographers to get some other images whilst you're getting yourself started. So don't worry about using some stock images to get yourself started, but then really ideally you want to be changing them up when you've done either a styled photo shoot, or you've had a photo shoot of yourself, or from some photographer images, so that you've got some really nice quality images on your website. I've talked about that already. Again, give Google what it needs, making lists. So what we want to talk about now a little bit is directory sites. Making lists, being online, being in different spaces. Directories are really useful for your rankings. Again, like I talked about earlier, having your website address and your content on big sites, on big directory sites, are going to help you grow on your Google, because again, you know, you're appearing on a big site. And it's all about trust. They already trust this big site, and that's why this big site is number 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever of Google. And if you're up there, then Google are going, brilliant. They've got a good reputation. So if this website down here is on this big website, they've got a good reputation. They must have a good reputation too. Let's keep going with the Google ranking. So have a really good think about directory sites. When you type in Bristol Celebrant, for example, have a look at which directory sites come up, and then make an idea or a call on whether you want to advertise on them. Again, thinking about ideal client, not putting yourself on Outrageous Bride, for example. If you're more traditional or modern celebrant, you don't want to be on the places where your audience aren't going to be. And also you want to really think about your investments in marketing and be, again, writing this all down and measuring it. So say you've been on Hitch for a year, you've had 5 inquiries and you've had no bookings, you might want to reconsider whether you want to do a second year on Hitch. The same with any other directory. What are your results? Write these down. Same with any marketing activity as well. What are your results? Write them down. The other thing that you want to be tracking when we're looking at tracking is Google Analytics. Write that down, because this is something that you will all need on your websites, Google Analytics. what Google Analytics does, and again, there is lots of training out there for Google Analytics, but it tracks where people are coming from, how they're getting on your website. Yeah, so it will say to you, okay, they're coming from Pitched, they're coming from the Celebrant directory, they're coming from Google, they're coming from that blog that you wrote. Yeah, you'll be able to tell what's powerful and what's working, and then you'll be able to do more of it. If they're coming all from Instagram, you're clearly doing a good job on Instagram, and you can keep up your game on Instagram because you know that traffic's coming through. So Google Analytics is really key for that. It's also a really good indication on how many people are actually coming to your site, because a lot of the time we could be saying, oh, you know, I've got this website, no one's booking me. Well, really, if you go and look at your analytics, only 10 people actually visited your site last month. So the likelihood of you actually converting any of them is slim. So having a look at Google Analytics also gives us a realistic view of how powerful our website is and how our website is performing. Does that make sense? So Google Analytics is a key tool as well to have a look at. Creating social media links. Social media is really important to the success of our business. I would recommend to you guys to just choose kind of one social media channel and really focus on it. Don't try and spread yourself too thin, but making sure your social media icons work on your website. Again, a lot of time, social media icons aren't working on people's websites. So do go and check them out and make sure that they are working on your website. The same with everything on your website. Go and click on every single link on your website and make sure those links are actually connecting to something. And make sure your contact form is working as well. And often a trip up we have is people coming to us, emailing us and saying, oh, well, I've tried to contact you through your contact form and it didn't work. The amount of times we've had that, and then of course, you're missing out on bookings at that point. Make sure people got your social media links, because again, the website might not sell you enough for that particular couple or family, and they want to come and find out more information about you, and your social media links is going to help with that. The next thing you need to jot down to do is Google My Business. If you haven't done Google My Business yet, I will show you what Google My Business is. So we'll jump back on over here and we will go back to Tara. You will see here on the right-hand side, Tara's address, her opening hours, her phone number, and you will see this lovely little map here. And what this does, Google My Business, is it places you on the map. So if you type in hairdressers, Kent, for example, and you get that map up, you know, on Google, and you see all them little pins everywhere, that is because that particular business has gone to the platform called Google My Business, which is here, your google.com/business. You can go there and you can set that up. It's a really, really great way of showing that you are a real business, because when you set it up, Google actually sends you a code through to your actual address, so that it shows, you know, your audience where it is that you are, and that it shows Google that you are an official business as well. And the other thing that you can do here, if you look here on Google My Business, is you can start to collect reviews. Again, credibility wise, it's really important to collect reviews. And here we've got 34 reviews. So people are coming on thinking, wow, she's a pretty decent celebrant. You know, people have left her reviews, and these are official reviews. You can't make these reviews up really, unless you make up 100 different email addresses and input it all in. But Google is very clever, and it notices that kind of technique. So it's very important that you go and you do Google My Business as another way of helping the optimization of your site. And lastly, I think, write blogs. Right. For those of you who are sat there thinking, well, how the heck do I write a blog? What is a blog? How many words does it need to be? We're going to just talk through blogs. What blogs are doing is adding fresh content to your website and giving fresh keywords to Google. So we might want to write about the top 10 wedding venues in Bristol, for example. And that could be something that a potential client would be typing into Google. Answer those questions. Have a look at the questions, or have a think about the questions that your potential market are going to be typing into Google, and then write about it. We want to be telling people the answers to their questions. Yeah. So if they are thinking, where can I have a celebrant-led wedding in Bristol? Answer that question in a blog. You don't need to answer it in your website. We don't need to be cluttering up our websites. We've got blogs to write more content on. So write the answers to these questions within a blog. Think about between 500 and 800 words. The more words, the better. But, you know, as a minimum, think about 5. Add in 500, add in about 3 to 5 small images again. And you can use websites like Answer the Public or, again, Google to give you the questions that people are asking. So if you want to go and check out Answer the Public, you can Google it, or SEM Rush, there's another website. And you can just type in questions and it gives you, hey, actually, this big audience keep asking this same question. Go write about it on your website. And what Google loves is fresh content. So the more you can put blogs on there, the more Google will re-spider your website and will give you a new ranking. So blogs are a really important part of your marketing strategy. Talked about this already, keeping your site updated and making sure that your website works. I've talked about that part already. I'm just going to dive back on over to Google. And we're just going to cover off a few of the things that I haven't covered yet tonight. But a lot of this content, as I say, can be implemented in time. It's not to say you need to go and rush in tomorrow and implement all of this because you're not going to get on page 1. It takes time. So every little thing that you implement will take a few weeks to actually be visible on Google. You know, there's hundreds of thousands and millions of websites that are out there, and we can't expect Google to do ours that very same day. Yeah, so it takes time. So set yourself a plan with it. Don't feel like you need to do all of this overnight. Write all of these bits down. Rewatch this video, you know, a couple of times to just go over these elements. They are very important to the success of your business ultimately, because they're the visibility part of what you've put into your business. I think Jess is here tonight actually, but I wanted to just talk about Jess's website and go through the structure of her website and what is powerful about her website, just to give you again an idea of how to construct web design and a website in order to convert these people into bookings. And that's ultimately what this training is about, is looking at how can we convert these people. So now you've got all of those SEO tools, you've got all of those things that you can start to put into practice. And now I just want to use this one website to just talk through the elements and the points that we have discussed over the last 2 sessions. So what's so good about Jess's website? One of the main things that is good about Jess's website, already you can see Jess in action, right? You've got a picture of Jess as you enter here doing her thing, right? She is officiating a ceremony. This gives me, one, the knowledge that she's doing it. Yeah, she's actually practicing as a celebrant. 2, a lovely, happy, smiley face, which draws me in. I feel warm. I feel a sense of trust already. I feel like she's a nice person and something, you know, that I want to find out more. I also get an idea of the type of couples that she works with. So these are the couples that she works with. And if I resonate with that type of couple, I'm going to connect with this website. Yeah. So have a think about the type of image you've got. Again, not all of us in our infancy of celebrancy are going to have a plethora of images. I'm sure a few of these images may be styled photo shoots, especially, you know, to the beginning. Styled photo shoots you can get involved in. There are some Facebook groups that are set up to help you with getting styled shoots together. Style photo shoots are fantastic for all different types of wedding suppliers, for example, because they all come together pretty much for free and they all share resource. So you have a photographer who wants the images for their profile, you've got a florist that wants the images for their profile, etc., etc. So it's a really great way, especially when you're at the beginning of your journey, to get some nice images. She's got a nice clean navigation at the top. Yes, she doesn't have the drop down for her ceremonies, but she also doesn't have as many items as other websites do. So she's got her nice clear navigation. She's also got the name of her business here. And she's also got her tagline, all you need is love. And it's very prettily presented. The other thing you notice already is her branding. Yeah, her color scheme. And you see this flowing throughout her website. This creates her identity. Yeah, this creates the memory in our mind of these colors that represent her business. Like I said yesterday, like Coca-Cola, we know it's red. Cadbury's, we know it's purple. Jess the Celebrant, we have these two colors that she's got here, these three colors, because she's including white in her palette, that we are then going to recognize as Jess. And that's the importance of having a consistent brand. We've then already got a nice large piece of font that we are going to read. All you need is love to get things started. And she's already got a send inquiry button. So we know where we're going to go. We're already given an instruction. We call this a call to action in marketing. We've already got an instruction of what to do next. And then we're talking about Jess. We're looking at Jess and we're having some information about Jess. And then we've got a button to go and find out more about Jess. So when we come here, we might not read all of this. We might go, actually, I'm interested in finding out about Jess. I'm going to click here, or I'm going to spend my time reading this. We keep going down. We've got another lovely image of a couple that she's going to be working with. And then we've got some directional elements here. We can come here for more information about naming ceremonies, more information about renewal of vows, more information about weddings. We've got these elements here. So we're again directing people. And we're telling them again what to do. Come and send an inquiry. Come and find about us on socials. Here is where we are. So Google, come and locate us in these places. Here's my email address. Here's my phone number, and send an inquiry. So lots of buttons on this site to take people to where I want them to go. I want them to go to the contact page and reach out to me. And then we've got this kind of authority here. We've got our like our logos and things like that. All again, hopefully have links. Yeah, they do have links going out to those websites. And that again helps us with our optimization because we've got some nice juicy links there. So that's just an example I wanted to show you, which is Jess the Celebrant, of a nice flow of a website. This is what Google wants. Google wants us to be able to give it the information, you know, treat it as a baby, give it the information and say to us, hey, can you put us on your rankings? Can you put us on your list? And can you put us right at the top if we start to then do all of that optimization that I've talked about tonight, images, content, keywords, blogs. You know, if we're putting that effort into our websites, we're going to show it and we're going to come up on top of Google. And when we're coming up on top of Google, ultimately, we're going to get more bookings. I love how I've just rounded that up really well. At the end there, talking about getting bookings from your website. That's what I want to talk to you about tonight. I do, of course, and I hope it's okay with you guys, I'm going to put on an offer for you guys. If any of you are out there looking to have another website completed because yours is a bit naff or you don't have a website at the moment, I want to give you the opportunity to grab a website at a discounted price tonight. And just a few of the things that I've worked on. I've talked about Gary. He had a fantastic journey with his website. After his website went live, he had 2 confirmed wedding bookings and more deposits in the pipeline. So in his words, that means my website's already paid for itself. And that's the mentality we need to have with any of the marketing that we do in our business. Is if I invest in my business at these stages. Now, for us as celebrants, we don't have to do huge investments in our business because ultimately we are our business, right? We don't have to hire premises. We don't have to hire staff. We don't have to buy X, Y, and Z. What we do need to do is have a really good brand and have a really good website. And there are 2 main investments. And you can already see through this, the website paid for itself. And then everything else from there is going to be profit. And that's what it's all about. And other websites that we've created, Katie Louise Jewelry, she's had an amazing experience, and Rachel as well, thoroughly recommended. So What I'm going to do for you guys tonight is give you £200 off our website and our branding services until Sunday. So you've got some time to think about it. But if it is something that you would like to do, you can get in there and have £200 off of our services. And we're also offering a 3-month payment plan. If you'd like to get your site done, it does come, first serve when it comes to getting you in the schedule, but we can jump in for April completions. Our website designs and our brand designs can take anywhere between kind of 1 to 3 weeks, depending on our feedback and our back and forth. And websites can generally take between 2 and 6 weeks, again, depending on the time that you have to input into working with us with images and content. But we are really there to hold your hand throughout the process. So for those of you guys, and obviously the majority of people we work with don't have a tech background, and we are here, which I find us quite different to other companies, is that we are here to support you and hold your hand. We've done hundreds of celebrant websites and we understand what makes a really good celebrant website. So if you guys are interested, anyone interested, I'm sending the link out to you in an email. You're very welcome to email me as well to find out more, but I'm sending you a link out to get yourself booked in. As I said, we're doing £200 off until Sunday, so you'll receive that link through. Okay, I'm going to take a breath now. I feel like I have literally been talking to you for the last 50 minutes. And I really hope you've enjoyed these last 2 sessions. There's a lot to take in when it comes to websites. It's not just a really easy fix. You know, it's not just oh, Jennifer's going to give me a few tips I'm going to implement and I'm going to be at the top of Google. There's a lot that goes into this, but this is the most important shopfront. This is your most important sales tool. And if you get this right, if you get a really fabulous website and you get the SEO content in there on your website, then you are going to make a difference to your business. Ultimately, if someone's coming to your website, if you go to a website, if you go to a hairdresser's website and you want to go and have a really nice haircut and their website's really really rubbish and faffy and all over the place and images here, images there, hardly any content, you're not really going to trust them to cut your hair nicely, right? You're going to think, oh. So, and same for a hotel. If a hotel website isn't very good, doesn't represent themselves very well, doesn't have lots of great images on there or anything like that, ultimately you're not going to want to go and stay there. So it's exactly the same when it comes to our service. As I said before, our service isn't a cheap service. You know, we charge a lot of money for what we do. And we want to build trust, and the way we build trust is through our web presence and of course our socials and things like that. But ultimately, people are going to come to Google first off. So I'm going to stop my share there, and I'm going to dive into some questions. I'm just going to spotlight myself and then come into some questions over here. Really useful, helpful, brilliant. Thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. WordPress question. My website keeps telling me I'm only using the free version and need to upgrade. Is essential to do? I would have to have a look at what it is that you're referring to. If it's Yoast, the SEO plugin, then no, you don't need to upgrade. If you're using WordPress, which I'm pretty sure you are, but I'm not sure what you're referring to with the free version, but we can have a chat about that. Mark says, agreed. I've been working on my SEO for over a year. Didn't really start to see any results until the start of 2024. Again, it is how much work and time that you put into your SEO and how many blogs you write, how much external stuff that you've done. You know, if you're writing on other people's blogs and content and you've got your URL and your link out there, there is one website called Bright Source, I believe. Don't hold me to it. I might have to look at it afterwards. But it is a site that's full of free directories. So they're not just specific directories to our industry, but they're free ones like Yale, Bing, like all of these. And if you spend some really good time registering yourself on all these directories, it's also going to help you with your ranking. I look forward to more of your CPD. Thank you, Stuart. Let's see if there's anything else. I've been involved in funeral style shoots. If there's none around you, organize one. Absolutely. Funerals are something that we don't have a lot of pictures of, right? It's not like we can go to families and go, hey, do you mind if I just have a little photo shoot around the coffin? You know, it's not something that we generally talk about, but It's not to say you can't go to a funeral director's and you can't say, hey, I want to have a styled photo shoot. Do you guys need some images, especially if you go and check their website out when they're a little bit naff? Do you guys want to have some images? I found a photographer that's really great. I don't mind paying for it, you know, a couple of £100 or whatever as an investment towards this. You hire the photographer and you get the funeral directors involved. Or you say to a photographer, do you want some images? There are a few photography companies that actually specialize in funeral images. So it might be worth approaching them at the same time. But for sure, it's really important to get some images of you. And also, you know, getting images of you, even in a burial ground or at a natural burial site, you know, especially natural burial sites, you know, with like a barn behind you or something like that, with your folder, with you know, looking in the distance or whatever it is, or even sat down with a family, you know, get a couple or a family sat in front of you and have a picture of you talking to a family. You know, those images are really powerful as well. How often do you update your brand? Ruth says. Ruth, I think I was talking about your website last night. As often as you feel it's relevant. So if you, for example, change your target market, if you've been working in a certain market for a while and you think, actually, this isn't my bag or this isn't floating my boat anymore, then of course you can change your brand. You know, nothing's permanent. You can change your brand. Having a really solid, beautiful brand is going to put you in really good stead for, again, your reputation and your credibility build. If you do a DIY brand, be really cautious of the output that it's going to give you. If you have something done professionally, obviously by professionals, they know what they're doing and they know how that brand is being seen by others. You can update your brand, you can update your business name if you wanted to. Nothing's permanent. But I wouldn't recommend doing it on, you know, a regular basis. People want to build up that visibility of you and really see who you are. So for example, the Celebrant Directory, we have changed the branding 3 times since we launched in 2018. We've changed the brand 3 times. And we just keep modernizing and modernizing and modernizing. And that's where we've got to as we've got to this position now. Yeah, we talked about the funeral celebrant. You can rewatch the videos. I'm sending out the replay tomorrow. In the PS, I'm going to have the link to the replay in there, so you can have a little look-see. Do you have to include your full business address on Google My Business? Go and have a look at that. I don't think you have to include the full address. I think it will ask you for the full address, but I'm pretty sure there's a way that you can get around that. How do you check your Google Analytics? So there's a couple of ways that you can do Google Analytics. You can log into Google Analytics to check your Google Analytics, or if you are on a WordPress-based website, you can actually integrate your Google Analytics into your website. So when you log into your website, you can also see your results of your analytics. It's really worth doing as well. Okay, anything else? Really good refresher on SEO. You're very welcome. I'm not ready to create a website, but want to utilize your expertise. Can I book now and get the reduced price, but start later? 100%, absolutely. Dive on in. We can schedule you for when you're ready. Made lots of notes. So we'll be checking my website tomorrow and need to get using my blog. Yes, Leslie, 100%. Need to start using your blog. Right. I didn't notice the words independent celebrant as an optimizing words. I feel this would be positive difference from a humanist celebrant. Is this your experience? Me personally, I dislike the word independent celebrant. I just think it's really boring. You know, what does independent celebrant even mean? You know, it just means we're working independently, which seems a little sad at the same time, right? So no one calls themselves an independent hairdresser, right? Like you just don't. So I don't know where this term came from. I would prefer to see that you are a modern celebrant, or that you are a passionate celebrant, or an innovative celebrant, or a creative celebrant, or a rock and roll celebrant, or just using like that adjective, that lovely word that really will appeal to your target market. So who's going to Google, you know, are a couple actually going to sit there and Google independent celebrant Bristol? They're not, are they? They're going to type in celebrant Bristol. So let's explain it as it is. Yeah, totally agree, Pamela says. Brilliant. Okay, lovelies, I'm going to leave you there. It's actually midnight for me, where I am. So I'm going to go and crash. But it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you all, and thank you for staying with me until the end. You know, it's been an absolute pleasure doing these 2 sessions. I love doing them. And of course, there's you know, something that you want to move forward with your website, then you know, click the link in the email I'm sending you, and do get in touch. But I really look forward to doing some more sessions with you. I'd love to do some more CPD. If there's anything that you are sat there thinking right now, hey, like, you know, I really love some CPD on this. It's something that I may be able to do, but I've also got lots and lots of contacts of bringing people in, experts in their fields. So, you know, do get in touch. I'm always here. Hit reply on your email that you get from me. I am at the other end. It's not just some automation and you never hear from me again. I'm at the other side. So always feel that you can reply. And especially if you've got any additional questions on SEO or your website, I'm here to support you. It's been fantastic being with you tonight, and I'll see you all really soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.